There is a very interesting shift taking place as Trump rapidly ramps up his authoritarianism, and that is white people flipping the switch from capitulation to resistance. Let me explain what I mean. Since the end of World War II, the white community in America has enjoyed unprecedented wealth and opportunity as a result of a globalized American empire. And because of that, we have been less likely to buck against the system, even when we know that system is unjust, because the system has rewarded us so well. That's called capitulation. And these are broad brushstrokes here. I'm speaking very generally. The black community, on the other hand, because they have always been a target of the system, from slavery to Jim Crow to the war on drugs, they have always maintained a posture of resistance. And again, there are plenty of exceptions on both sides here. But what's interesting to see now is more and more white people, first of all, waking up, and secondly, taking risks to resist the Trump regime, taking to the streets in protest, directly confronting ICE officers, resigning positions of authority, and in our case, making a documentary that could cause us to get our tails sewed off or worse. But it's worth it, these acts of resistance. Jesus said it like this: "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world yet lose his soul?" Because we cannot be people any longer who go along with wicked systems just because they benefit us.
Why aren't Americans out in the streets protesting Trump's policies like they do over in Europe? Well, I'll take a shot at answering that. I'm not an expert, but I have opinions on the subject. If you're willing to listen, I'm willing to share. To begin with, I think there's a significant group of Americans who are simply apathetic. They don't care. They're willing to let the next guy handle it. They don't want to stick their necks out. There is yet another group of Americans who are simply so beaten down by the struggle of day-to-day life in this country that they don't have the energy to care. If you're a banker, if you're an attorney, if you're an engineer or an architect, a medical professional, or if you're in one of the specialized trades like electrical or plumbing, you can make a very good life here. But if you're not, there's a good chance you're struggling. And when you come home at night after that second job, all you want to do is collapse on the couch and put your feet up. You don't want to go out marching. I think Americans tend to have a negative perception of protesters, probably stemming from the days of the Vietnam War, when college students were out in the streets clashing violently with police. Americans, despite all the braggadocio and bravado, are a fairly docile bunch of people. They do what they're told. Additionally, there can be negative consequences for protesting in this country. For example, American corporations are incredibly sensitive to how they are perceived in the public eye. If it became known that a group of their employees was out marching in the streets and waving signs, there might be negative consequences. Those employees could face severance. I had a boss one time tell me that he didn't want to see me out marching in gay pride parades. It happens. Additionally, there's the risk of physical harm. It wouldn't surprise me at all to hear that a group of MAGA brown shirts had descended on some protesters and tried to beat them up. And you have to remember that Americans are armed to the teeth. Guns are everywhere. In my state, you can carry a gun in your pocket without a permit or a license. But I think the biggest reason that Americans are not out protesting in the streets about Trump's policies is that they agree with them. I know that sounds incredible, but it's true. This is an aggrieved group of people who do not want the nation sharing its wealth with other countries. They feel like America has been taken advantage of by other countries. They are tired of seeing us give away our money and our resources to other countries. They don't want people from other countries coming over here to take advantage of the benefits and the opportunities that we have. They don't want to share. Back in World War I or World War II, you would have called these people isolationists.
In today's discussion, we are looking at claims and reactions circulating online about dissatisfaction within segments of the white community towards the current administration and why some individuals say they no longer feel represented or supported. Recently, commentary has suggested that for some people, the direction of leadership no longer aligns with their expectation, raising concerns around value, priorities, and whether their voices are being heard in decision making. However, it's important to note that these are individuals' perspectives, not a single unified state. What we are seeing is a mix of opinion across social media platforms, with some expressing frustration about policy direction, while others argue that this narrative oversimplifies a much more complex political reality. Overall, this reflects broader political polarization where people reassess their views based on how they perceive current events and policies impacting their life. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for sticking with me. And if you're new here, this is a space for real conversation about real situation, no filter, no noise. Go ahead to hit that like button, turn on your notification bell so you never miss a video like this. Before we go, just a quick note, this video is for commentary and educational purpose. It is not meant to hate or discriminate against anyone. As always, credit goes to the original creators for every clip used in this episode. Let's see more clips and we'll be back.
Most Americans are completely against this war because, like you said, the president has made no case for it. We live our ordinary lives and we don't feel threatened by Iran. We don't walk around thinking that in any moment an Iranian ballistic missile is going to land on our head. And I was out there on the front lines for Make America Great Again. And Make America Great Again was supposed to be America first, not Israel first, not any foreign country first, not any foreign people first, but the American people first. Now, as we have seen over 100 little girls killed at a school from a bomb, and I don't know whose bomb it was, but they're dead today because America and Israel attacked Iran. So that's not really good for Iranian women. And our president is saying that the Iranian people are all of a sudden going to topple their regime. Well, I don't think the Iranian people are going to be toppling their regime when they're getting blown apart by the United States and Israel in an unprovoked attack. And yes, it was unprovoked. And Pete Hegseth said this morning, Megan, he said that we didn't start this war. But I hate to argue with the Secretary of the Department of War. America and Israel definitely started this war, and you can't lie that away to the American people. And so, you know how I feel right now? I am irate. I am furious about this. We are nearly $40 trillion in debt. How much is this war going to cost us? We have seen enough of our American troops dead and murdered for foreign countries. And now we've had 4 dead and murdered, just like you said, for Israel and for the Iranian people, not for the American people. And I don't want to see any more dead and murdered. When we have a president of the United States who doesn't think and is convinced he's not going to heaven, what does that mean his decision making is? He already said to the New York Post today that he doesn't care about the polling. He doesn't care about what the American people think, and he may put troops on the ground. He took this is going to be a few-day war, to now it's going to be maybe 4 weeks or more. I want to say, what is happening to the man that I supported? And we're a year in, and we're in another fucking war, and we've got American troops being killed. I think it's time for America to rip the Band-Aid off, and we need to have a serious conversation about what the fuck is happening to this country and who in the hell are these decisions being made for, and who is making these decisions.
At the end of the day, what we are saying is less about one group speaking with a single voice and more about a broader moment of political reflection and public debate. People are asking questions about representation, about fairness, about direction, and those questions naturally lead to different conclusions depending on individual experience and perspective. It's also important to remember that no community is static. Across time, views evolve, priorities shift, and public opinion adjusts as leaders continue and as policy begin to impact people in different ways. Some individuals may feel that their expectations are being met, while others may feel out or unheard. And in many cases, a large number of people find themselves somewhere in between, agreeing with certain aspects while disagreeing with others. This is why it can be misleading to frame this conversation as a simple us versus them situation. In reality, what we are observing is a mix of agreement, disagreement, criticism, and support happening simultaneously. People from different backgrounds and viewpoints are reacting based on what matters most to them personally. whether that's economic stability, social issues, national direction, or global policy. Another key factor here is how information spreads today. Social media and digital platforms amplify voices quickly, which can sometimes make it seem like a unified movement is forming, even when what actually exists is a collection of individual opinions being shared and repeated across different spaces. Amplification can shape perception, making certain narratives appear more widespread or more coordinated than they truly are. Ultimately, the bigger picture is not just about any one group or any one administration. It's about how people engage with governance, how they interpret policies, and how they express satisfaction or dissatisfaction over time. Public discourse plays a major role in shaping narrative, influencing opinion, and bringing attention to concerns that people feel strongly about. So instead of focusing on whether one group is for or against in a unified sense, it may be more accurate to understand this as an ongoing conversation, one that reflects the diversity of opinion within any society. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think what you're seeing is a genuine rise in dissatisfaction across different groups, or is it largely shaped and amplified by social media conversation? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's keep it respectful, open, and constructive. If you found this breakdown valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next. Stay informed, stay curious, and keep the conversation going. See you in my next episode.